assisting gardeners along the Kobuk and up the coast to Kivalina and down to Deering. Winters I roam the hills and sea ice surrounding Kotzebue and travel upriver to our old igloo, always gathering, although now my harvest includes photographs and stories in addition to meat and berries, furs and firewood. I spend spring and fall at home on that bluff called Bunokdorik. There my wife and daughter, Stacy and China, often accompany me. Other times I am alone, though our dog Worf sometimes came with me before he passed on. My ties to the land remain of utmost importance to my identity, as is the case for many people in this region. Over the years, my family's strongest ties to the village have been via the Williams family, Don and Mary, who repeatedly turn up in my stories. They have been a second family to me and mine, as have their kids, Alvin, Cindy, and Jennifer. Andrew Green later married Jennifer and became my fishing partner and close friend. He appears and reappears in these stories, too. No account of local characters along this river and out on the tundra, in my stretch of years, could be complete without one name, Clarence Wood. Here where hunters vie for status, he towers above the rest. Growing up on that wind-blown bluff, when my brother and I heard our dogs barking the warning that meant visitors, or heard the distant drone of a snowmobile, our first guess was Clarence. He spent countless nights at our small home, paid countless visits, drank countless cups of coffee sitting on our bearskin couch. His humor, his knowledge of the wild, his way of telling tales, his legendary toughness out on the land, all beg for many more words than I've put down here. This collection of words, these dispatches from the Arctic, span 6 or 7 years and are mostly in chronological order, but sometimes move back and forth in time. I was raised in a life of making things to survive, not buying material goods, and have always made my kayaks, wood stoves, boats, sleds, and the like. To this day, I feel the need to create. Writing, for me, creates a way to unravel the dichotomies between the candlelit memories of our first sod igloo and the glowing screen of today. Writing is my way to possibly illuminate a trail or two through the blizzard of change that has swept north. I hope these stories shine a light on this amazing place, the people and animals and land of my home, the Arctic. Part 1. Life Around the Igloo. Memories of a Handmade Man. Snowflakes were falling, coming down on already deep drifts outside our windows. Winter and a gray world out there stretching to dark horizons. I don't recall how Oliver Cameron arrived at the buried sod igloo where I grew up, but I picture him coming on snowshoes, plodding, dragging one of his home-fashioned narrow runner sleds, the line of runner tracks already buried by the time he pulled his parka off beside our stove. Snowshoe travel makes sense, certainly, and it was handmade snowshoes that he spent weeks that winter building for my mom and brother in our small house during his visit. For the first few days, he filed at my dad's ripsaw with a triangle file. He worked each metal tooth until he was satisfied with how he'd modified it, making it bigger and sharper and adjusting the set to the teeth. Oliver always enjoyed filing and whittling tools and handles down until he liked them better than before. He was a tall, thin man who wore heavy drab-patched clothes, wool pants and a wool shirt, always buttoned at the sleeves. He had broad, square shoulders. His wrists and throat were pale, his fingers long and rough from making everything by hand. He had big ears and broad lips, and if you paid attention, you noticed his hands shook a little, something we hadn't seen during past visits. The look in his eyes, and the little cap he wore, too, recalled photographs from the 1930s of thin, hungry men who lived through the Great Depression. Of course, we didn't know much of that back then. To my brother, Cole, and me,